Commander Sarah Chen stood at attention before the United Earth Defense Council, her weathered uniform a stark contrast to their pristine attire. The holoscreen behind her displayed her creation, the UES Chimera, a ship that looked more like abstract art than a military vessel. Its hull was a patchwork of human and salvaged alien technology, with crystalline protrusions that seemed to defy conventional engineering. Commander Chen. Admiral Harrison's voice cut through the silence. You expect us to approve production of this? He gestured at the rotating hologram with barely concealed disdain. Yes, sir. Chen's voice remained steady despite the familiar ache of frustration building in her chest. The Chimera represents a quantum leap in human defensive capabilities. We've successfully integrated the crystalline technology from the Arcturian wreckage with our own systems. Laughter rippled through the chamber. Captain Reynolds, her longtime rival, didn't bother hiding his smirk. It looks like something my kid built with spare parts. Chen activated her datapad, bringing up simulation results. The crystalline matrix allows for energy redistribution at a scale we've never achieved. In simulated combat. Simulations, Admiral Harrison interrupted. Aren't reality, Commander. This hybrid monstrosity of yours goes against every principle of proven ship design. The resources required to build even one would fund 3 conventional destroyers. Chen's chief engineer, Dr. Maya Patel, shifted uncomfortably beside her. They'd spent 3 years developing the Chimera, working through countless failures and breakthroughs. The crystalline technology had been dismissed as useless by every other research team, until Chen's team discovered its true potential. Sir, with respect, conventional thinking won't protect us forever. The galaxy is vast, and we've only explored a fraction of it. When we encounter advanced alien civilizations, Captain Reynolds interjected, if we encounter them. Meanwhile, pirate raids on our outer colonies continue while you play with alien trinkets. Chen's fingers tightened around her datapad. The Chimera isn't just about combat capability. The crystalline matrix opens up new possibilities for deep space exploration, energy efficiency. Enough. Admiral Harrison raised his hand. The Council has heard sufficient testimony. Commander Chen, while your creativity is noted, the UED cannot justify further funding for this project. The Chimera will remain a prototype. You and your team will be reassigned to conventional research divisions. The Council chamber emptied quickly, leaving Chen and Patel alone with their failed dreams. The hologram of the Chimera continued its slow rotation, crystalline surfaces catching the light like a forbidden promise. They're wrong, Sarah. Patel's voice was quiet but firm. The Chimera works. We've proven it in every test. Chen stared at their creation. They see what they expect to see, Maya. A mess of human and alien tech, cobbled together by desperate dreamers. She smiled slightly. Maybe we are desperate dreamers. But that's how humanity got to the stars in the first place. They walked together through the sprawling Singapore Space Command complex, passing windows that offered glimpses of the massive shipyards beyond. Conventional destroyers and cruisers were under construction, their familiar shapes a testament to humanity's reluctance to change. The Chimera waited in a distant dock, practically quarantined from the real military vessels. As they approached, Chen felt the familiar surge of pride. The ship's unusual design housed innovations that the Council couldn't, or wouldn't, understand. The crystalline matrices didn't just store energy. They learned, adapted, evolved with each challenge. What now? Patil asked as they stood before their creation. Chen's hand touched the hull, feeling the subtle vibration of the crystalline network beneath. We follow orders. Start the shutdown procedures. Document everything. Every test, every result. Someday, someone will need to understand how it all works. The small crew of 20 had gathered in the Chimera's unconventional bridge. They were all misfits in their own way, brilliant minds who saw possibilities where others saw only risks. Chen looked at each face, seeing the same determination that had driven them this far. It's been an honor, she began, but a priority alert cut through the ship's systems. The main screen activated automatically, displaying a message that made Chen's blood run cold. Multiple unknown contacts had appeared at the edge of the solar system. They were like nothing Earth's sensors had ever encountered. Massive ships that seemed to phase in and out of normal space. The few images available showed vessels of impossible configuration, their technology far beyond human understanding. As Chen read the preliminary data, she couldn't help but smile grimly. The Council had worried about pirate raids while she prepared for exactly this moment. The Chimera might be a laughingstock, but it was also humanity's only ship designed to face the truly unknown. Her crew looked at her expectantly, already knowing what she would say. They had trained for this, prepared for this, even when no one else believed. "Begin power-up sequence," Chen ordered. "Maya, get those crystals singing. The Council's about to learn why sometimes the best ideas look a little strange." The Chimera hummed to life around them, its hybrid systems awakening with a harmony that still amazed Chen. As emergency alerts began flooding in from across the solar system, she settled into her command chair, ready to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in following the familiar path. It was in daring to try something new. The unknown contacts were approaching Earth's outer colonies. Soon, the Council would have no choice but to deploy every asset available, even the ones they'd laughed at. Chen looked at her crew, seeing not resignation but anticipation. "Let them laugh," she said quietly. "We'll show them what the Chimera can really do." The first images from Europa colony showed vessels that defied physics. The alien ships moved like liquid mercury, their surfaces rippling and reforming as they approached the settlement. Earth's most advanced sensors struggled to maintain a lock on them, their readings fluctuating wildly as if the ships existed in multiple states simultaneously. Admiral Harrison's face was ashen on the emergency broadcast. "All available UED vessels are to converge on the Europa defense zone. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not." His transmission cut off abruptly. Commander Chen watched from the Chimera's bridge as the pride of Earth's fleet, 15 state-of-the-art destroyers, and the flagship carrier UES Invincible, moved to intercept the alien vessels. The same ships that the Council had preferred over her hybrid monstrosity were about to face humanity's first major extraterrestrial threat. Multiple quantum fluctuations detected, Dr. Puddle reported, her fingers dancing across the crystalline interface. "The alien vessels are generating some kind of field that's distorting local space-time, similar to the Arcturian tech," Chen asked, remembering the strange properties of the salvaged crystals they'd integrated into the Chimera. "Similar, but magnitudes more advanced. They're not just bending space, they're folding it." The first engagement lasted less than 10 minutes. Earth's weapons passed harmlessly through the alien ships, while their return fire twisted reality itself. Chen watched in horror as the UES Invincible split apart along impossible angles, its crew exposed to vacuum in ways that violated Euclidean geometry. "They're not just using advanced technology," Lieutenant Riza Khan, their quantum physicist, said quietly. "They're using the fundamental laws of physics as weapons." Europa colony's distress calls filled the command channel. The alien ships had begun what they probably considered communication, complex patterns of reality distortion that drove humans mad on contact. 3 million colonists screamed as their minds tried to process sensory input from multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Chen's hands clenched into fists. "Maya, full power to the crystalline matrix." "Riza, I need everything you can tell me about those distortion patterns." Commander, her XO, James Torres, stepped forward. "We haven't received authorization to engage. The Council specifically ordered. The Council is watching their conventional fleet get torn apart by physics we barely understand." Chen cut him off. "And we're the only ship specifically designed to interact with quantum-level anomalies." The Chimera's hybrid systems hummed louder as power flowed through its crystalline network. Unlike the rigid structures of conventional ships, their vessel could adapt, its alien components learning and evolving in response to new threats. A new transmission cut through the chaos. Admiral Harrison himself. Commander Chen. His voice had lost all its previous condescension, replaced by desperate urgency. Your ship, the crystalline technology. Could it protect against these spatial distortions? That's what we built it for, sir, Chen replied, allowing herself a small moment of satisfaction. The Chimera can do more than protect. It can fight back. You have emergency authorization to engage. Save what's left of Europa colony. And good luck. The Chimera moved forward, its unconventional drive system creating ripples in space-time that mirrored the alien vessel's own distortions. As they approached the battlefield, Chen saw her crew's expressions shift from anxiety to focused determination. They'd trained for this, prepared for this, even when everyone else called them crazy. First contact protocols have already failed, Chen announced to her crew. These beings either can't or won't communicate in ways we can survive. Our priority is protecting Earth's citizens and gathering tactical data. The alien ships turned their attention to the Chimera, probably curious about this strange vessel that moved differently from the others. Their first attack came as a wave of spatial distortion that would have torn a normal ship apart. But the Chimera wasn't normal. Its crystalline matrix absorbed the distortion, the alien tech they'd integrated singing in harmony with the attack. Data flooded their systems as the ship's hybrid nature allowed it to analyze the enemy's weapons in ways no conventional vessel could. The crystals are learning, Paddle reported excitedly. Each attack gives us more information about their technology. It's like they're teaching us how to fight them. Chen nodded grimly. Then let's be good students. Prepare the phase cannon. Let's show them humanity's learned a few tricks about bending reality too. The Chimera's main weapon powered up, a crystalline accelerator that fired beams of concentrated quantum uncertainty. Against conventional ships, it had seemed like overkill. Against beings that treated space-time like clay, it was exactly what they needed. As the battle for Europa colony began in earnest, Chen realized this was just the beginning. The aliens had revealed themselves, but humanity had revealed something too, that even in the face of incomprehensible technology, they refused to back down. All hands, battle stations, Chen ordered, watching the alien ships move in. Let's show them why sometimes the best answer to advanced technology is a little human ingenuity mixed with their own stolen tech. The Chimera's crystals pulsed with power, ready to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in following the established path. It was in taking the impossible and making it work. The Chimera shuddered as another reality warping blast washed over its hull. Inside the bridge, Commander Chen watched the crystalline matrices pulse with absorbed energy, each impact teaching their hybrid systems more about the enemy's technology. Pattern analysis complete, Lieutenant Khan announced, his voice tight with excitement. Commander, you need to see this. He transmitted the data to her station, where complex waveforms danced across the display. Chen studied the readings, her eyes widening. They're not invincible, she whispered. Maya, are you seeing this? Dr. Patel was already furiously working at her station, the crystalline interface responding to her thoughts as much as her touch. The aliens aren't actually shifting through dimensions. They're creating localized bubbles of altered space-time, complex, but not impossible to counter. The revelation came at a crucial moment. 3 alien vessels had surrounded the Chimera, their fluid metal hulls rippling as they prepared another attack. Behind them, the ruins of Europa colony hung in space, a grim reminder of what failure would mean. Riza, route the pattern analysis to weapons. Maya, I need maximum power to the crystalline matrix. Chen's fingers flew across her command interface. We're about to try something that probably violates several laws of physics. The Chimera's hybrid systems hummed with power as Chen implemented her desperate plan. Instead of trying to resist the aliens' reality warping effects, they would use their own crystalline technology to create a resonance cascade. Think of it like a wine glass shattering when hit with the right frequency, Khan explained to the crew. Every system has a natural resonance, even space-time itself. The alien ships struck first, their combined attack creating a distortion field that should have torn the Chimera apart. But Chen was ready. Now, she ordered. The Chimera's phase cannon fired, not with a conventional energy beam, but with a precisely tuned quantum pulse. The crystalline matrices throughout the ship vibrated in perfect harmony, amplifying the effect. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then space itself began to ring like a struck bell. The alien ship's reality bubbles wavered, their perfectly controlled distortions beginning to unravel. Their technology relies on precise spatial manipulation, Paddle reported, her voice rising with excitement. When we match and amplify their frequency. One of the alien ships suddenly snapped back into normal space, its liquid metal hull solidifying into bizarre geometries. Without its dimensional defenses, it was vulnerable to conventional weapons. All batteries fire, Chen ordered. The Chimera's secondary weapons opened up, tearing into the alien vessel's exposed structure. It exploded in a cascade of impossible colors, fragments of its technology scattering across space. The remaining alien ships reeled back, clearly surprised by the loss of their companion. Their next attacks were hesitant, uncoordinated. For the first time, they showed something that might have been fear. They'd never faced anyone who could counter their technology, Chen realized. They thought they were untouchable. The battle that followed was unlike anything in human military history. The Chimera danced through space, its hybrid systems predicting and matching the aliens' reality warping attacks. Each engagement taught them more, the crystalline technology adapting and evolving in real time. 2 more alien ships fell to the resonance cascade technique before the others retreated, vanishing into folds of distorted space. The crew of the Chimera cheered, but Chen knew this was just the beginning. Send all combat data to command, she ordered. Every ship we can retrofit with crystalline tech needs to learn this technique. The aliens will be back, and they'll be ready for us next time. As the Chimera moved to assist the Europa colony survivors, Chen received a transmission from Admiral Harrison. His face showed a mixture of relief and chagrin. "Commander Chen," he said, "it seems we owe you and your hybrid monstrosity an apology. The Council has authorized immediate production of 5 more Chimera-class vessels. We need every advantage we can get." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Thank you, sir, but we'll need more than just ships. We need to completely rethink how we approach space warfare. These aliens showed us that reality itself is negotiable. We need to be ready to negotiate back." The crystalline matrices hummed around them, still processing everything they'd learned from the battle. In their victory, Chen saw the true strength of humanity, not just our ability to fight, but our ability to adapt, to take the impossible and make it work. "Maya," she called to her chief engineer, "how quickly can we incorporate what we learned today into the ship's systems?" Patel grinned. "The crystals are already doing it. That's the beauty of hybrid tech. It evolves. By the time those aliens come back, we'll have more than just resonance cascades waiting for them." Chen nodded, watching her crew work with renewed purpose. They had proven that humanity could stand against the impossible. Now they had to prove they could win. The Chimera's sensors detected more quantum disturbances at the edge of the solar system. The aliens weren't done. They were regrouping. But this time, humanity would be ready. This time, they had more than just conventional weapons and tactics. They had innovation. They had adaptation. And most importantly, they had the courage to embrace the unknown and turn it to their advantage. Mars Colony represented humanity's greatest achievement in space, a thriving city of 10 million souls under its massive environmental domes. Now it was the last major human settlement outside Earth, and the aliens were coming. The Chimera led a defensive fleet of 5 newly retrofitted vessels, each incorporating crystalline technology based on Commander Chen's design. They weren't as refined as the original, but they were humanity's best hope. "Quantum distortions detected," Lieutenant Khan reported. "Bigger than anything we've seen before. They're not just sending ships, they're bringing their entire battle fleet. Chen studied the sensor readings with growing concern. The alien armada emerged from folded space like a nightmare-made real 50 vessels of impossible geometry, led by a massive flagship that seemed to exist in several places simultaneously. They've adapted their techniques, Dr. Patel noted grimly. The resonance cascade won't work the same way twice. They're using multiple frequency patterns now, overlapping and reinforcing each other. The defense of Mars had been carefully planned. The retrofitted ships would work in concert, their crystalline systems linked to create a protective network around the colony. But as Chen watched the alien fleet approach, she knew it wouldn't be enough. They're not just here to destroy the colony, she realized. They're here to eliminate the only real threat they've faced, ships that can challenge their technological superiority. The battle began with a display of power that made their previous encounters look like skirmishes. The alien flagship unleashed a wave of spatial distortion that turned the very fabric of space into a weapon. Two of the retrofitted ships were caught in the effect, their crews watching in horror as their vessels twisted into impossible shapes. Direct hit on the Ganymede dome. The report came from Mars Control, panic evident in the operator's voice. Environmental systems failing. We have 3 million civilians in that sector. The Chimera shuddered as its crystalline matrix struggled to compensate for the increasingly complex attacks. Warning indicators flashed across Chen's display. Their hybrid systems were being pushed beyond their designed limits. "Commander," Patel called out, her hands dancing across the crystalline interface. "I have an idea. It's insane, but it might be our only chance." "At this point, I'm open to insane," Chen replied, watching another retrofitted ship fall to the alien onslaught. The crystalline matrix doesn't just absorb and adapt to their spatial distortions, it resonates with them. If we overload our entire network, we could create a feedback loop in their own technology, turn their reality warping abilities against them. That would destroy the Chimera, Torres pointed out. The power surge would burn out every system we have. Chen looked at the massive alien flagship, its impossible form dominating the space above Mars. They were losing this battle, and with it, humanity's last major colony would fall. Conventional tactics wouldn't save them. It was time for something unconventional. "How close would we need to get?" she asked Patel. "Inside their primary reality bubble. Point-blank range. And we'd only have one shot. The crystals would shatter after the overload." Chen opened a channel to the remaining retrofitted ships. "All vessels, this is Commander Chen. Focus your fire on the smaller alien ships. Clear us a path to their flagship. The Chimera is going to end this." "Sarah," Patel said quietly, using her first name, "if this works, it'll be a one-way trip. The feedback loop will tear apart anything caught in it, including us." Chen nodded, looking at her crew, the misfits, the dreamers, the ones who had believed in the impossible. "Then we make it count. Begin power transfer to the crystalline matrix. Divert everything. Weapons, shields, life support. We won't need them where we're going." The Chimera accelerated toward the alien flagship, its hybrid drive pushing past safety limits. The crystalline networks throughout the ship pulsed with dangerous levels of energy, creating a visual display that made the vessel look like it was made of pure light. "Multiple enemy ships moving to intercept," Torres reported. "Let them come," Chen replied. "We're about to show them why you should never back humanity into a corner." The alien vessels fired, their reality-warping weapons distorting space around the Chimera. But instead of trying to resist the effects, Chen ordered the ship to embrace them, using the enemy's own spatial distortions to close the distance faster. As they approached the flagship, Chen could feel the ship groaning around them. The crystalline matrix was absorbing more power than it was ever designed to handle, turning the Chimera into what was essentially a giant quantum bomb. "All hands," she announced, "it has been an honor serving with you. Now, let's show these aliens why sometimes the best weapon isn't the biggest or most advanced. It's the one they never see coming." The Chimera plunged toward the heart of the alien flagship, its crystalline systems screaming with overloaded energy. In its final moments, the hybrid vessel that had once been mocked as a mongrel design was about to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in perfection. It was in the beautiful chaos of innovation. The moment of impact between the Chimera and the alien flagship created an event that would be studied by human scientists for decades to come. As the overloaded crystalline matrix met the flagship's reality-warping field, space itself seemed to hold its breath. For one eternal second, nothing happened. Then reality screamed. The feedback loop began at the quantum level, the Chimera's hybrid technology turning the aliens' own spatial manipulation against them. The effect spread like ripples in a pond, but these ripples tore through the fabric of space-time itself. From the Mars colony observation deck, millions watched as the alien flagship twisted in on itself, its perfect geometric forms collapsing into impossible angles. The feedback cascade moved from ship to ship through their linked spatial fields, each vessel's reality warping technology becoming its own destruction. In the flagship's command center, Commander Chen and her crew witnessed something no human had ever seen: the death of what had seemed to be invincible technology. The crystalline matrix sang its final song, a harmony of human ingenuity and alien science that turned order into beautiful chaos. Multiple quantum resonance cascades. Lieutenant Khan's voice was filled with awe in those last moments. We're not just destroying their ships, we're rewriting the rules they relied on. Dr. Patel worked until the very end, her fingers dancing across controls that were literally dissolving into quantum uncertainty. The crystalline network is exceeding all theoretical limits. It's beautiful. As the Chimera broke apart, its sacrifice triggered a chain reaction through the alien fleet. Ships that had seemed untouchable were torn apart by their own technology. The few vessels that attempted to escape found their reality-warping drives backfiring, collapsing into singularities that winked out of existence. From Mars colony, Admiral Harrison watched with a mixture of grief and pride. The hybrid vessel he had once mocked had just saved humanity's largest colony. More than that, it had shown the aliens that humanity couldn't be conquered through technological superiority alone. In the aftermath, as rescue ships picked up the scattered escape pods from the Chimera, they found something unexpected. The ship's crystalline core, a chamber deep within its hybrid structure, had somehow survived. Within it, preserved in a bubble of altered space, was the bridge crew, alive but changed by their experience. Commander Chen opened her eyes in a medical bay 3 days later, her first words a question about her ship and crew. When told they had survived, she smiled. "The crystals," she said weakly. "They learned to protect us, just as we learned to use them." The aliens, or the quantum weavers as they came to be known, did not return to human space for many years. When they did, it was not with weapons but with emissaries. They had learned a harsh lesson about underestimating supposedly primitive species. In the decades that followed, humanity began building a new fleet. Every ship incorporated crystalline technology, not as a separate system, but as an integral part of their design. The principles discovered by the Chimera's sacrifice led to advances in physics, engineering, and space travel that transformed human civilization. At the dedication ceremony for the new Chimera-class flagship, Admiral Harrison spoke to a crowd that included both humans and alien representatives. "We learned something vital in that battle above Mars," he said. "The greatest weapon isn't superior technology or overwhelming force. It's the courage to take what seems impossible and make it work." Commander Chen, now Fleet Admiral Chen, stood with her old crew as they watched the new ship rise from its construction dock. Its hull gleamed with integrated crystalline matrices, no longer looking strange, but instead representing the perfect fusion of human and alien science. "They laughed at us once," Dr. Patel said quietly, standing beside her old friend. Chen nodded, touching the crystalline implant that now linked her directly to ship systems, a gift of her experience in that final battle. They laughed because they didn't understand that humanity's greatest strength isn't in perfection. It's in our ability to take the broken, the mismatched, the impossible, and turn it into something amazing. The new Chimera's engines lit up, its hybrid systems humming with power that was both familiar and strange. As it rose into the sky, its crystalline surfaces catching the sunlight, it carried with it humanity's message to the galaxy. Underestimate us at your peril. For on that day above Mars, humanity had proven that even in the face of incomprehensible technology and overwhelming odds, they would find a way. Not through brute force or superior numbers, but through the uniquely human traits of adaptation, innovation, and the stubborn refusal to accept defeat. The laughter had stopped long ago. In its place was respect, earned in the crucible of that desperate battle when a ship of misfits and dreamers had changed the course of human history. The Chimera's legacy lived on, a reminder that sometimes the best ideas are the ones that everyone else dismisses as impossible. And somewhere in the quantum realm, the echoes of that first hybrid ship's sacrifice still resonated, singing a song of humanity's triumph over the impossible.